Marshall Goldsmith is corporate America's most sought-after executive coach. He's an in-demand speaker and the best-selling author of 27 books, including What Got You Here Won't Get You There, a Wall Street Journal #1 business book and winner of the Harold Longman Award for Best Business Book of the Year. His newest bestseller is Mojo, How to Get It, How to Keep It, and How to Get It Back If You Lose It.
Mojo is the moment where we do something that's purposeful, powerful, and positive, and the rest of the world can see it. For example, I fly on the airplanes all the time. You have two flight attendants. One is angry, cynical, bitter. The other one is positive, upbeat. One is finding meaning. The other isn't. What's the difference? Same pay, same company, same uniform, same airplane. The difference is not what's coming from the outside. The difference is what's coming from the inside. In Mojo, we talk about how to generate that positive difference, not from the outside, how to generate that positive difference from the inside.
Marshall helps successful leaders get even better by achieving positive, lasting change in behavior for themselves, their people, and their teams. He has worked with more than 120 major CEOs at companies like AT&T, Chase, Coca-Cola, IBM, and Pfizer. He's been named one of the 15 most influential business thinkers in the world by Forbes and the London Times, a top 10 executive educator by the Wall Street Journal, and one of the most influential practitioners in the history of leadership development by Businessweek. He's also been named to the Thinkers 50 list, an internationally recognized biennial guide of the world's top 50 business thinkers. His coaching techniques have been written about by everyone from Harvard Business Review to Forbes to The New Yorker. No matter who he's coaching, Marshall has one firm belief. His job is not to help people learn, but to help people do.
4 words to be a better coach: help more, judge less. Now, the good news is everything I teach you today doesn't just apply at work, it applies at home. My favorite clients are stubborn and opinionated people. Are any of you all just a little stubborn or opinionated? And by the way, if we're stubborn and opinionated at work, what are the odds we become excessively open-minded when we go home? Now, the best feedback I got as a coach last year came from a managing partner of Goldman Sachs. This gentleman is worth $300 million. You know what he told me? You helped me become a better father, and you helped me become a better husband. Everyone in the room is going to pick one area for improvement. Now we're going to practice something called feed forward. In feed forward, you're going to be in 2 roles. Role number 1. It's going to be called learn as much as I can. Are there some smart people in this room? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. If you had a chance to learn from these smart people, would you like to do that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Role number 2 is going to be called help as much as I can. Are there some nice people in this room? Yes. If you had a chance to help these nice people, would you like to do that?
Definitely.
You're going to be learning or helping as much as you can. Depends on what role you're in. Now, what are the rules? Rule 1, no feedback about the past. I want everyone in the room to stare intently at the faces of everyone else in the room. Look around the room. Look at all these faces. Now let's all take a deep breath. You see, whatever sins anyone in this room has committed up until this second in time, we ain't gonna fix those. We spend too much time talking about the past anyway. You can't change the past. Have any of you been impressed with your wife, husband, or partner's near photographic memory of your previous sins? Which have been documented and will be shared with you in a repetitive and annoying way. Well, you can't change the past anyway. Rule 1, no feedback about the past. And rule 2 is the hard rule. You can't judge or critique suggestions. When people give you ideas, don't say good idea, bad idea, I already knew that, that'll never work. No matter what people tell you, you must stand there, shut up, listen. If you have pencil and paper, take notes. If not, just listen. All you can say is thank you. Now, how does this work? You come to me and say, I want to get better at X. I'm going to give you 1 or 2 very quick ideas, no feedback about the past, only ideas for the future. What do you say? Thank you. No matter what I say, you say thank you. I never change the compensation plan. I don't change the performance appraisal system. I don't do any of those fancy things. I use tiny little amounts of money, and it is amazing how well this works to help people change behavior, and I donate all the money to charity. It's amazing how, and this is fun, it's a good thing to do, it's a great coaching tool, and it doesn't hurt anybody. Now let's see, have any of you read my book so far? Anybody read the book? Yes. Are most of my clients, would they be women or men? What do you think? Most of them. They're mostly men. Would they be mostly young or old? Old. Would they be mostly poor or rich?
Rich.
Old rich men. Yes, most of my clients are old rich men. Now, there's a common misperception about old rich men. That is, old rich men would not mind losing tiny amounts of money. That would be wrong. They hate losing any money. Watch them play golf. They lie, they cheat, they swear at each other. For what? $5. They hate losing money, and it is amazing how well this helps people change behavior. Now, let me give you some examples. Number one, destructive comments. Have you all been taught we want to create positive relationships across the organization? We want to reach out to our coworkers and develop positive win-win relationships. Have you been taught these things? What happens to the quality of all these positive relationships when we stab our coworkers in the back in front of other people?
Marshall Goldsmith has been called the Buddha of the boardroom. His energy is infectious, and his passion for helping people achieve change is inspirational. He has 3 favorite sayings: life is good, be happy now, and let it go. His favorite coaching exercise embraces this attitude and reminds audiences to find value, happiness, and meaning in all the things they have today.
Okay, is everybody ready? Take a deep breath. Take a deeper breath. I want you to imagine that you are 95 years old. You're just getting ready to die. You're on that deathbed. Here comes your last breath. But right before you take that breath, you're given a beautiful gift. The ability to go back in time. The ability to go back in time and talk to the person in this room. The ability to help this person be a better professional. Much more important, the ability to help this person have a better life. What advice would the wise 95-year-old you, who knows what was really important and what was not important and what matters and what don't matter and what counts and what don't really count, what advice would that wise old person have for the you that's sitting in this room? You don't have to say anything or write anything or do anything. In your mind, I just want you to answer 2 questions. Number 1, professional advice. That old person wants you to be a great professional, a great leader. What professional advice would that person have? Number 2, personal advice. That old person wants you to have a great life. Whatever you're thinking now, do that. In terms of performance appraisals, that's the only one that counts. A friend of mine interviewed a bunch of old people who were dying. Got to ask them this question: what advice would you have? 3 themes come up in the answers from old people facing death. Theme number 1 could be summarized in 3 words: be happy now. Not next week, not next month, not next year. Be happy now. The great Western disease we are spreading around the world. I'll be happy when? When I get that BMW, when I get that car, when I get that status. We all get the same when. People in this room are among the luckiest people in the history of the world. Don't get so wrapped up looking at what you don't have that you miss that, what you do have. Learning point number 2, stare around the room. Look at everyone's face around the room. Learning point number 2 is called friends and family. I'm going to help you. When you're 95 years old and you're looking around that deathbed, ain't no Google employees waving goodbye. You start to realize these friends and family, they're a little important. They're the only ones who seem to be here today. And learning point 3, if you have a dream, go for it. And many of you have done this. If you don't go for it when you're 35, you may not when you're 75 or 85. It doesn't even have to be a big dream, maybe a little one. Go to New Zealand, speak Spanish. Other people may think you're goofy. Who cares? It's not their dream, it's yours. Business advice isn't much different. Number 1, have fun. Life is short. Have a good time. If you don't love what you're doing, you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. Have fun. It's hard to make those other people enthusiastic if we aren't. By the way, I've asked thousands of parents this question. When my child grows up, I want my child to be. There's one word that comes from parents more than every other word in the world put together. What's that one word? Happy. You want your child to be happy? You want the young people who work here to be happy? You go first.
Marshall Goldsmith, exclusively represented by leading authorities.
Life is good.